My mind's going blank now. What's happening? I can't remember. I'm gonna lose track. My mind's going blank now. What are you talking about? What the hell's going on here? Where the hell are we? My mind's going blank now. I can't remember. I don't know what the hell he's talking about. What am I doing here? My mind's going blank now. Where am I heading? I keep forgetting I'm president. Where am I? No idea. Last night I was on television. I was on a telephone. Rapidly rising. And with I don't know. COVID has taken more than 100 years. Look, here's lives reflected in the NHEI. America is a nation that can be defined in a single word. I was in the foot in the brigade seize the ill-begotten gains of Putin's kleptocracy. Yeah. NATO's purpose is to defend against aggression. Let me make near and dear to you that you like to be able to. Anyway. My mind's going blank now. What's happening? I can't remember. I'm gonna lose track. My mind's going blank now. What are you talking about? What the hell's going on here? Where the hell are we? My mind's going blank now. I can't remember. I don't know what the hell he's talking about. What am I doing here? My mind's.
We interrupt this message from Dinky Joe Biden to bring you the following from an exalted, lifelong member of the Democratic National Party, Robert Fitzgerald Kennedy.
As you know, I left that party in October because it had departed so dramatically from the core values that I grew up with. It had become the party of war, censorship, corruption, big pharma, big tech, big ag, and big money.
Welcome back once again. This is Chris Report, and he assured me that since Simon's down in Boulders, folks, this is Chris Wyatt reporting from South Africa.
What's that? That's just wrong. Welcome back to the program, folks. Whoa. Just another Manic Monday, Monday Morning Blues. Boy, that happened really fast there. Wrong screen. Sorry about that. Welcome back to the program. You heard it there from Joe Biden himself, speaking in his indomitable, brilliant lexicon of Joe Biden. And, of course, we also had comments there from Robert Fitzgerald Kennedy Jr., RFK Jr. Keep saying JFK. I got to be careful there. It's RFK, not JFK. JFK Jr. died in a plane crash going to a wedding for his aunt. Anyway, welcome back to the program. Can you imagine if he was around? They'd probably be pushing him with no substance. You think that Kamala's no substance? Imagine JFK Jr. being up there. They would be the guy they would be pushing endlessly right now. That would be their candidate. Well, for those of you tuning in, wondering about Morning Shots, Ramon Cabanach landing with John Steenhuisen, well, it's out. The cat is out of the bag. I got a little bit of hair hanging out here on this beard. What's going on there? Ramon Cabanach's jump ship and his left morning shot, and that is really disturbing me. I'm going to have to go cut that at some point. That's beard. And he is now the chief of staff for the Minister of Agriculture in South Africa. Freelance Kate, you don't have to be part of a political party to work for the government. He is working in the office of the Minister of Agriculture. That's a government position. And he's being paid by the taxpayer and not by the Democratic Alliance. So he's perfectly able to do that. It's a government position. He is now on the government dole. Ramon Cabanach, who rails against the government, ironically, is now being paid by the taxpayer. Isn't that funny? That's how he can be on the roll. It's pretty simple. And even if he was a political party hire, the party can hire him. You don't have to work for the party. I've offered my consulting services to political parties in South Africa, and none have bitten, and they're all falling by the wayside. That's their problem, their mistake, not my choice. Anyway, boy, I tell you what, a couple days of not taking my doxycycline, and my skin's already breaking out. I'm stuck with this condition. Apparently, it's chronic now, courtesy of wearing face masks during the COVID scam. You don't have to be part of a political party to work for a party. They hire outside consultants all the time. They hire people who work for them all the time. And the government hires people regardless of political affiliation, even in South Africa. Ants is here. Hester is here. Hendo, Charles Van Onselen, the voice of reason, Freelance Kate, who asked that aforementioned question. Hendo, so will Chris finally get more access to the DA now? Nope, probably not. Is Chris friends with Ramon? Well, I guess I am. I think so. I don't know. Well, it's a senior position, so to speak. It's chief of staff of a ministry. He's not chief of staff for the president in the presidency. Chief of staff for a minister. So, yeah, it's important, but I wouldn't say senior. The newspaper called it a senior position because that's what I'd like to do. Oh, thank you, Miss Pumba, for pausing the earlier video and catching it later on. Angelique Newey, welcome back to you. It's me again. And Gus says, thanks to all the moderators. I think Sue said that as well earlier. Yes, thanks to all the moderators who work so hard, the volunteers who put their time here and on the channel. Really do appreciate it. It's very awesome of you all. And thanks to the folks coming in regularly, shooting us up over 100 viewers per concurrent viewers on a live stream. It's much more rewarding to see 1,200 to 1,000 views on a live stream. It's not like the old days. Not like the heady days of 2020 before censorship's heavy hand put the burden down and crushed my original channel and then, put the brakes on this channel. But still, it's very rewarding. There's a lot of time and effort goes into this, I do an awful lot of stuff for other people, I spent about 5 or 6 hours doing veterans business on a Sunday. None of which is for me. I get nothing but grief out of that, but I'm just doing it for the others, So anyway, yeah, so it is nice to see when people actually come in and check it out. So my mind's going blank. Yep. Ulrich Fenter's here. Icono's back. Teresa. Erica's here. Hey, Erica. Garrett Gillich is here. Almost missed Garrett. John Huchin in from Arizona. Good to see some U.S. viewers in here. And I'm just asking because last time I asked Chris, he said he would not do so well. Icono. What did Icono ask me? Will Johnson have a successful term as agriculture minister? I don't recall saying he wouldn't do so well. I said that's not a position he's well suited for. I remember saying that. So I stand on correction if I said that. I don't think that's the right place for him. There's better positions for him to go than that. As far as the agriculture minister, well, we'll see. It's going to be difficult to succeed there when the land issue is in the hands of someone else, and that's the key issue when it comes to agriculture is land. It's one of the key issues. Well, the beard is evacuating. I don't know if it's leaving yet, Matthew. It's certainly evacuating. Notice it? Getting shorter and shorter. Someone said, I was at the VFW yesterday, someone said, yeah, the beard's getting shorter, but your hair is getting longer on top. It's like it's shifting. Oh, my goodness. What do you mean calm down? What? Exactly. He answered his question. And Paulie, the brains behind the operation, is in the back of the classroom. Okay. Moonchild, good to see you again. I saw you comment on one of my videos. Thank you. It's good to see you back. I don't know if you were gone or hang on a second here. Oh, okay. I was looking to see if I had an email or a text this morning. So, yeah. Anyway, proof positive that PooTube still censors my original channel. There's Matthew Dixon's membership for 13 months. Can't wait for his next free membership. Well, according to news media, the Secret Service has already stopped protection for RFK. It's not fake news. No, according to the media, they already stopped it. They only recently gave it to him. So, yep. So they've already stopped. Hey, Chantel, how's it going? Oh, I see, Moonshot. I know you're there. Yeah, but thanks for the comment. I saw your comment on one of my videos. Well, Icono, it's not like his father or his uncle were assassinated. Yeah, anyway. Yeah, it's not like the man he's endorsed was nearly murdered by ineptitude of the Secret Service or complicit behavior, which of the two. How was answering your questions today? Well, hostile. No. Okay, stop. Okay, I kind of stop it. Charles was not being rude. He just answered your question. That's all. Charles is not a moderator, but I do call him the voice of reason for a purpose. Charles does weigh in here and occasionally to answer questions when I'm busy dealing with the news, addressing something else. And if I previously addressed it, Charles is here almost all the time. So he simply stated what was going on. So enough spats, no more of that. By the way, I saw Sticks and Hex and Hammer 666 on again. He really needs to work on his audio. Boy, man, it's like his audio sounds like me on my laptop facing the other direction in what was not a studio then, just a sitting room, between the sitting room and the dining room and the echo chamber. Really poor sound. Really poor. That's right, John. Very poor sound quality. Anyway, so, but hey, works for him. He's got 1,800 concurrent live stream viewers, and he must have got about $500 in super chats while we were sitting there. Wow, must be nice to be famous and get lots of money tossed your way. Don't know what that's like. It's been a while since we've seen that kind of cash coming this way. Is Big Daddy Liberty on today? I didn't even know that. Freelance wants to know, what was the outcome of Ronaldo? I haven't heard anything about him in months. Well, it hasn't been months. It's only been since June, July, and August. We're talking 2 months, so technically that's months, but it hasn't been 2 full months since the situation arose. So Ronaldo's case, we're still waiting to hear from, but as was obvious, which I knew, but I mean, obviously I wasn't going to share that because it wasn't mine to share. And I didn't know it from inside source. I just know it from common sense what was going on, and also from talking to people in South Africa, that Ronaldo was doing his job as a member of parliament. He's got responsibilities as a member of parliament. The fact that he was suspended from party activities doesn't prevent him from doing his job as a member of parliament. And that became very clear when there was a news media report saying that, suspended racist Ronaldo is involved with the DA. No, he was attending training that the DA put on. And even in the article they wrote that, they said it was training that was required for members of parliament. He was in order to fulfill his job. So it wasn't a DA party function. It was a DA training event. And so anyway, whatever. It's just people need to grow up and let go. Ronaldo didn't do anything wrong. Just poor judgment 15 years ago. Deborah Olivier says, Roman is a very intelligent young man. I wish him well. Is he really? You think he is? Joe Emilio's on. Why are all these people horning into my time? Yeah, Charles, he's got all kinds of disease. He's got Graves' disease. He's got some other disease. He's got all kinds of medical issues. Shame, he's a good-looking guy. If he'd had that dead sexy, Magnum PI voice, he probably would have gone very far politically. Yeah, anyway, so that explains why people disappear at the top of the hour some days of the week. Yep, anyway, because they want to go somewhere else. But that's fine. That's what people get to do. What's this? What's going on over here? Oh, okay. Huh. Yep, I hope all the little people are preparing for the crazy cost increase and sure it's not going to get easier. Well, they are assuming that Kamala Harris has won the race. It hasn't happened yet. We shall see. Anyway, so there's an article that appears in City Press today talking about Roman Kabanak. And some of the quotes are, look, Roman, if you're watching the program, I doubt you are. You probably got a day job now. You're kind of busy, so you don't have time for this. But I will say this. This is probably not the smartest thing to say. Just a little bit of advice here. And that is, when spoken to by the City Press, he said, I'm very comfortable with the appointment because fortunately, there are not many woke people at the Department of Agriculture as we are here to work. I am, therefore, not bothered if the woke crowd is critical of my appointment. It's probably not the best thing to say after they just called you right wing. Like Trump, that just stokes the fire. It just churns the mix. You really don't want to do that. That's not wise. Yep. So Clive says, hello, Chris, and the worm in his brain. Yeah, well, and that's... Look, he wouldn't be the first person. I mean, I used to watch House all the time. One of the most important things for me as a non-U.S. citizen is that I want a strong U.S. diplomatic military-wise. We don't want to be laughed at. Well, we're laughed at under this regime. Yep. How are things going in the mountains, Sean? Oh, okay. All right. Any takes on the arrest of... Yeah, Telegram. Yeah, it's a desperate attempt. It just shows you yet another attempt to silence free speech. The French government wants to arrest the CEO of a company based in Dubai over comments made by people from around the world who aren't even in France that it deems to be inappropriate. Now, the French do have some legal authority over businesses operating in France, but does Telegram have a business in France? I don't know. It would seem to me that this is a effort to kowtow Telegram. Look, Telegram's got all kinds of problems, the least of which is there's no moderation whatsoever. But they're claiming there's child pornography and all this other stuff. I have no idea. All I get on there endlessly harassed with is crypto and people creating fake accounts. I mean, they do nothing about it. So that's my beef with them. I don't know anything about this. This is all these other claims they've got against him. But it seems to me highly suspicious that they would arrest him, particularly in advance of an election just a couple months coming up now in the United States, and Telegram being a major place where people share things freely about what's actually happening in America, in the United Kingdom. And I think that's what it's really about. I think the French authorities have arrested the founder of Telegram because they want to silence Telegram in the United Kingdom, in the United States. Yep. Chris Wyatt back. Good to see you again. Yeah, so we'll talk about that as well, the arrest of the founder of Telegram, who purportedly is worth $15 billion. I don't understand. Where does that valuation come from? How do you attach a valuation to Telegram? Is it even making money? I don't recall ever seeing a single ad on Telegram. Where's the money coming from? I don't pay to use it. Where are they making money? It is censorship, Hendo. That's right. Censorship in the UK, censorship in France, censorship in the United States. It's all over the place. We're back in the USSR. That's what we are. Well, Cyril Ramaphosa has taken the ministries and reassigned them the state-owned enterprises. Yep. Yes, that is ridiculous. Well, it's not non-existent. It's just simply a sham. We've been misled into thinking we actually have free speech. Icano, see, you just keep going. Why can't I ask a Trump question without Charles being hostile to me? He wasn't hostile. I read his comment. He even told you he wasn't hostile. Let it go. Let it go. Hey, Kurtz, how's it going? So Cyril Ramaphosa has reassigned these state-owned enterprises. Well, we're going to talk about some other state-owned enterprises today. But in the meantime, Ramaphosa has reassigned responsibility for state-owned companies to various members of his cabinet. That means the Minister of Transport, the communist Barbara Creasy, will take on the shareholder responsibilities for Transnet and South African Airways. Good luck with that, sweetheart. Minister of Electricity and Energy, Kojisenso Ramakopa, at the Copacabana, the hottest spot north of Havana. He'll take responsibility for State Diamond Miner, ESCOM. And Minister of Mineral and Petroleum Resources, Gwede Mantashe, will take responsibility for Alexcor. And Minister of Defense, Angie Macheka, will take responsibility for Denel. Dion George will take responsibility for the South African Forestry Company. Wow. Well, there you go. Interesting. What's going on here? Well, either an effort to tar and feather ministers for corruption in these ministries, or an effort to make them accountable. Wouldn't that be nice? As I said, City Press runs a story. Steenhuisen appoints controversial right-winger in a key role. Looks more metrosexual than controversial to me. That light blue blazer. Yeah, okay. Controversial podcaster and conservative social media activist Roman Kabanak has been appointed as Chief of Staff in the Office of Minister of Agriculture. So why is he a right-winger? That's never really explained here, other than an allegation by a Jewish writer claiming that he didn't stop someone else from saying anti-Semitic things. Oh, by the way, I do have a sign. I should have put this up. Hang on. Picked this up during my campaign earlier. This should be our Kamala poster right here. You like that, Angela? You can't fix stupid, but you can vote it out. Yeah. More power to Roman, says Dylan. Kurt says he's white. Who's white? Roman? Is he really? Yeah, I need a lot of those. We could all use that sign. Yep. Some people are just born dumb. Well, I think a lot of people. Hey, Cabello, welcome back. I think a lot of people train for being dumb, being stupid. Yep. Hein Velman says, watch how they're already searching for dirt on him like a dog chase squirrels. Oh, yeah. Well, good luck with that. Good luck with that. Challenge accepted. So they say that Roman is a right-winger. Well, what about Gate McKenzie? He's a right-winger. Where are the press coverage of Gate McKenzie being honest about him politically? Not that it matters. Just the reason I'm mentioning this is that the media likes to use this as a slur to attack someone, claiming that Roman is right-wing. So the basis of that in this whole article on City Press is one comment here from a journalist named Nishma Brody, who writes for the South African Jewish Report, which has a website up. And it says that she's complaining about something happening 5 years ago. Yep. Said that he had an online conversation with a bunch of alternative right-wing thinkers, one of whom had Nazi beliefs. Of course, she doesn't mention who the right-wing thinkers were, alternative right-wing thinkers, and who the Nazi thinker was. We see the Nazis. They're in power today. Keir Starmer, Emmanuel Macron, Vladimir Putin, Volodymyr Zelensky. These are the fascists. Joe Biden. They are the Nazis. It's not city press. It's crappy mess. One stick that's signed to the White House fence. Exactly, Charles. Gabe McKenzie's more right-wing than anyone else in the current political environment. Nobody says anything because he's not white. Does not count. Aha! See? And, gosh, I got something stuck in my throat here. Where are the comments about Julius Malema being left-wing? The only time anyone ever mentions left-wing in the legacy media is if we're talking about the National Hockey League or rugby union. That's the only time you hear about a left-winger. Oh, on the left wing is Makazole Mapimpi. But nobody says on the left wing is Julius Malema. You don't hear that. Oh, Emmanuel Macron is very much left-wing. He's a fascist. See, let me dispel something else too. If you go to Wikipedia, and this is why Jimmy Wales gets 0 cents and $0 from me, because Wikipedia is a leftist, self-pleasuring, lying website. I've been a contributor since the very beginning. I've authored dozens of articles on there. I've edited dozens more. I was an editor on there for years. But they silence speech that they don't like. Now, for years, the argument was, well, Wikipedia is updated by, academics and professionals. Hang on a second. Oh, my goodness. Oh, my goodness. Sorry, that's... Hang on. Sorry, folks, it's important. Sorry about that. People are complaining about air conditioning. I mean, seriously. He's a liberal. It's all I know, to be fair. Well, okay, so let me go back. So back to Jimmy Wales and Wikipedia. Sorry for that, folks. It just disappeared there for a second. Got to multitask. I don't have a staff of hundreds, just me. So Wikipedia, if you look up fascism and extreme right, in fact, I'll look it up. We'll do that right now. Let's go to Wikipedia. I'm not even going to cherry pick this. F-A-S-C-I-S, fascism. Okay, definition. Okay, here you go. Fascism. So let me get this up on the window. Come on. Where you at? Come on. Be nice, Firefox. There we go. All right, so fascism. So I did a fascism Google search, okay? And fascism on Google says it's a far-right authoritarian. It's not a far-right. So it's a far-right authoritarian ultranationalist political ideology. It's not. So here we see the first two examples of fascism that are in the modern era. Do you know who they are? Benito Mussolini and Adolf Hitler. Do you know who they represent? Socialist parties. Where are socialist parties? On the left side of the spectrum. What do socialist parties believe in? Autarky. What do socialist parties believe in? And they believe in government ownership of the means of production. What did the Italians under Mussolini and the Germans under Hitler believe in? Fascism. They were left-wing parties. It is not a right-wing philosophy. That is a lie. It's across the political spectrum. Fascism is in every side. That's right, the National Socialist Party. It's right there in the title. It kills me. It kills me. It's like, well, colored is a slur. Really? Then somebody go tell the National Association for the Advancement of Colored People that they're racist. They're not. It was the description for people who were black at that time, accepted by black, white, and brown people. Not as a racial slur, but as simply as a description of people. In South Africa, it's a term of endearment and pride for many people who are actually colored. My goodness. No, blame stupid people for being stupid. That's what I blame. Now, Roman can appoint someone to look after Ramaphosa's buffalo. Alan Kotza said, me on Retardistan with Byron was great, but it brought about a light bulb moment. We'll never see Ronaldo on YouTube again, ever, until the DA kicks him to the curb. Maybe not. But we'll probably see Ronaldo in Parliament. He could probably appear as a guest on programs. Gabe McKenzie's more right-wing than anyone else. Yeah, exactly right. That was left off. Sorry, my throat is still not coming. Canadian president, yeah, Justin Trudeau is a fascist as well, and he's politically left. Yeah, exactly, Charles. In South Africa, right means white, but it's not. It's a lie. Damn, sorry. All right, so people mixing fascism, right-wing nationalism, exactly. So if you look that up on Wikipedia and Google, you'll get it's right-wing. It's not right-wing. People believe that because they're too lazy to do the research. Hey, Marty, how's it going? Yep. What else we got here? Not even allowed to practice religion in left-wing countries such as China and North Korea. That's fascist. Monray Sieberts is in, and then color in South Africa is embraced. Exactly, Charles. Will Paul Mashatile be the new NC president? No. Unlikely, Icano. Very unlikely. All right, so back to the story. So back to what I was saying. So Roman Kabanek now works as the chief of staff for the Minister of Agriculture. Hey, Chesney Purcell, thank you for subscribing. We don't see a lot of that on the show. Must be either watching now or you're watching the one of my videos. Thank you for subscribing. Got the T-shirt, Swanee. What's this? That's the research. Yeah, so here's a news flash to City Press and to the Afrikaans media outlet that put it out from News 24. You know, their family there, Propaganda 24. Roman Kabanek, on the 26th of August, is when you report that he started working for he's working for the Minister of Agriculture. You're 3 weeks and 5 days too late. You're 25 days tardy in the news reporting. Those of us in the news actually knew it was August 1st. Oh my goodness. So yeah, they breaking news story. Extreme right-wing controversial figure working for the Ministry of Agriculture. 3.5 weeks ago. Now, this is a total non sequitur. What does this have to do with the story? So in this story, is it Johan Abers, or what's his name? Abers. Johan Abers said that at the bottom, that in February, Roman was on Cliff Central. And he said all political parties are just moronic. We no longer have a state. It doesn't matter who takes over. John Steenhuisen and Helen Zille can run this country as a theocracy for 10 years. It doesn't matter. There is no army. There are no borders. There's no police. What are they going to do? Fix the potholes? Well, that's obviously political hyperbole. Number one, there is an army. It's just underfunded. There is 187,000 police officers who are incompetent and under-resourced. So that's there. And there are borders. They're just porous and not well protected. He was being facetious with political hyperbole. Why would John Steenhuisen and Helen Zille run the country as a theocracy? I think they'd have a conflict there. I don't even know if Steenhuisen is even a Christian. Helen Zille is a Jew. I don't think we're going to run it with a synagogue running the country. He's being facetious. And why did you throw that in? That's just gratuitous. You got nothing on him. I did see a video on Citizen Concern complaining about Cecil John Rhodes. Is that what you're talking about, Icano? It was released last night on one of the first dozen people that actually saw it, if that's the one you're talking about. I don't get that. Who's preparing these things for her? I've talked about all the things she talks about in that video multiple times on this channel in the past, and nobody seems to give a crap, about how others aren't calling out the Rwandan genocide, how others don't call out the Pol Pot and the Khmer Rouge. People don't call out Shaka Zulu has an airport named after him. He's a mass murderer who murdered all of his concubines whenever they became pregnant so he wouldn't have an offspring to threaten his reign. Eventually murdered by one of his brothers. And I've talked about all this stuff. I talked about the behavior of the Angolan slave trader. She mentioned the Nigerian one. I mentioned the Angolan one. I give up. I'm tired of people telling me how other people are smart. Fantastic. I'm well aware. I've been there and said these things, reported on them, analyzed them long before most of these people have done it. So it gets a little frustrating. Roman is a qualified lawyer. That's correct. No, Icano. She complained about other people because Julius Malema spoke at Rhodes, and then all these lunatic. Look at the crowd up there. Do any of these people sitting there, not because of their skin color, don't even start that horse manure, but look at their behavior, their comportment, their engagement in a university lecture hall. Almost none of them strike me as university students, and they're all there listening to this moron who has no proper university education, who knows nothing about the world other than his race hustling. And he's just, well, why are we calling it Rhodes? Yeah, the greatest colonizer, greatest. No, it's not even remote. Not even remote. Like, go to the empires of West Africa. You want to talk about colonizers and people who sold millions of Africans into slavery and murdered people? Stop. I'm so sick of this willful ignorance. And yay, good for Citizen Concern. She told people about it. Well, I tell people about it. Nobody seems to give a shit other than a dedicated, loyal, small audience. Thank you for that. But I mean, it gets so frustrating. And so if I make a video about Hendrik Witbooi and the courageous stand and rebellion that the Witbooi Nama led against the German government in German Southwest Africa, will anybody watch that other than you guys here right now? No. All the proof I need is look at any video that's half-assed, poorly done, poorly edited, poorly put together, like on the wine industry in South Africa, 150,000 views. But what does my video have? 900 views after 2 years, despite the fact that a professional filmographer made the video. So sad. So sad. Gets annoying. So look, Icono, I saw the video, and she's right. 100%. So obviously, I don't need to make any videos. Eric Dome says, Daily Mavericks, Polyphon Vikings expand current Minister of Justice, probably old news. Does she seem the singing? Yeah, also, is it really an expose? Is it really exposing? I didn't put that story in today because where's the smoking gun? Now, I did see a graphic that somebody made, but it doesn't show any evidence. It just shows all these circles and dots and saying, well, this is what happened, this person here. But there's no evidence. They don't go, here's a payment from here, and it was quid pro quo, this for that. I don't see that. So the fact that the former acting Minister of Justice or Minister of Justice, whatever the hell she was at the time, the fact that she got a loan from a bank that was corrupt doesn't mean that it was inappropriate or corrupt. And she got a loan to start a business. Now, maybe it is. I'm the ANC. I'm going to talk about ANC corruption today, selling visas in Dubai. But look, and I got nothing against Polly van Wyk. I mean, she's trying, but I mean, I don't see it there. Maybe I'm not digging deep enough in the story. It's a little bit confusing. There's bigger fish. Look, let's talk about Babita Deokaran. Let's talk about 3 billion rand in the Tembisa that we know about. Let's talk, where are the people responsible for stealing 3 billion rand from Tembisa Hospital? And where is the hospital administrator responsible for allowing this to happen? The courageous actions of one woman who was butchered, murdered for her efforts. And all she did was do what she's supposed to. She did the right thing. And for that, she paid with her life. Her daughter will be raised an orphan. Unbelievable. That's a story. Let's get on that. Now, News 24 does cover that. And she works for Daily Maverick, so I get your point. Bernard says, Ramon's a great guy, calls it as he sees it. Right wing is basically being honest. Exactly. People believe what they want to believe. Exactly. It doesn't matter. The truth, it's my truth. Yeah, there's no such thing. There's facts and there's facts. She not complaining about what? Garrett, okay, guys, your chats, you're not listening to what I'm saying here. You're inferring incorrectly. I said she complained about the people who were not pointing out all these other people acting what he did so badly. No, it's exactly right. Alan says, the concern is a cock channel. I don't know if it's a cock channel. I've seen some good content on there, but I've seen some questionable content. Specifically, her attack on Ernst Rutz had no merit whatsoever. Okay, Val, how's it going? Rome is busy. Rome is burning. Charles says she gets it because she's black. Yeah, literally most of the time, she's literally echoing what you said ages ago. Thank you, Charles. Thank you very much. Statement of fact. That's not an attack on citizen concern, and no one should infer that. I'm not implying that at all, and I don't want you to infer that. No, but it's a statement of fact. I mean, look, so many things I've highlighted this year. I mean, here's the other thing. What YouTube content creators during the lockdown went out and talked to ordinary people in South Africa, like panel beaters and hair salon owners and tobacco farmers? What YouTube content creators in South Africa try to bring you consistently good stories? I mean, it's impossible to do, but I do. Macadamia Nut Association, Goed Constantia, Forum for Democrats, poultry industry. I do. The Basutu Cultural Village. I do. because they try to bring you all the content. And for that, I'm ignored and copied. Oh well. Yeah, the cabinet. Just like if Trump did something regarding banking associated with Epstein, I would not support him. Would you? There's no evidence that Trump did anything with Epstein, anything whatsoever. So that's the problem here, and that's now this. Let's get past the citizen concern. This isn't about citizen concern. This is about things in general, like Sticks and Hammer. Listening to him earlier, all these people, Cat Turd, whoever it is. Here's the thing that irritates me: when someone whom I back or support does something questionable, then I call it out. Donald Trump promised a border wall. Only built a few hundred miles. Never got done. Now, it's not entirely his fault, but it never got done. Donald Trump allowed the nonsense that occurred in Portland and Seattle to occur. When a federal courthouse was invaded and occupied by a foreign force of insurrectionists, the federal government should have responded, and they should have reoccupied that courthouse and stopped this in its infancy. When public safety was endangered by state authorities failing to uphold the rule of law, the federal government should have declared martial law in those jurisdictions. So, look, there's things that we can say about Trump. Trump also put too much confidence and faith in the bureaucrats around him, like Fauci. And Trump also says some stupid things at times, you know. But I call him out on that. That's what drives me nuts about people. So, look, the Cape Secession guys, I have no beef with them, positive or negative. I think they're a nice bunch of folks, and I cover their stories objectively. But also, I mean, I was among the first to point out objectively, not look, they did so poorly. That's what the media did. Oh, look. No, I just said, quite frankly, I mean, you know, for the next 6 months, Cape Secession is a dead letter topic. No one's going to talk about it. And I even asked people I interviewed that guy up there in Joburg that I talked to at the country club there about that, and I asked his view on it. His view was different. So, you know, that's the difference. I will call things out for what they are. Look, I'm going to put both Icono and Charles in a timeout here in 5 minutes. Here's your 5-minute warning, both of you. Knock it off. Yeah, drama sells. This is why the media don't report news, only propaganda. Yeah, you're right about that, Kurtz. You're right about that. Well, look at this today. I had 140 people here a couple minutes ago because they want to hear about Roman Kabanak. And they want to hear about the controversy about an extreme right-winger. Not because of the news. We dropped from 123. Man, what's Matthew doing trolling there? Joe Neiman, are you really on St. Helena? You do fly. Wow. I thought I'd check that out sometime, but that's only a couple times a week, and you got to hope the flight gets there. Dylan, so can I leave? Why are you leaving, Dylan? Where are you going? Where is Dylan going? You cannot go anywhere, Dylan. You've not been authorized to depart. All right, so the extreme right-winger, Roman Kabanak, is working for John Steenhuisen. And in other non-news, the Joburg mayor, Dada Marrero, is criticized over jobs for foreign nationals. The newly elected mayor executive was wrapped over the knuckles for his controversial suggestion. Newly elected Joburg mayor Dada Marrero has been wrapped over the knuckles for his controversial suggestion that documented foreign nationals should be recruited into the Metro Police Department to help with crime fighting efforts in South Africa's largest metro. Why in the world would you recruit foreign nationals in your police service? Why do we allow them in our foreign service? It's ridiculous. Ridiculous. DIRCO, the Director of International Relations and Cooperation, has recalled its ambassador to Dubai. Consul General in Dubai is recalled after whistleblowers expose visa sales scheme. Department of International Relations and Cooperation has confirmed the recall of Consul General to Dubai Andrew Chepo Lebona after whistleblowers exposed an elaborate visa scam. The department has acted on information from whistleblowers pointing to security breaches and misconduct. We've recalled the Consul General for a preliminary investigation. It's alleged the office has been running a scam selling visas to citizens of the UAE. Interesting. Well, more ANC corruption. Hardly a surprise. Now, the EFF said they started the ANC's decline and will finish its job to collapse it. So Julius Malema takes credit for the ANC collapsing. Really? Okay. I'm sorry. Hey, moron, did you not notice that your party's collapsed? It's falling apart. You collapse the ANC and you're gonna finish the job? I have one thing to say to Julius Malema, and you ready for this? Now, in honor of of the new chief of staff at the Department of Agriculture, ready? Green acres is the place to be. Farm living is a life for me. Darling, I love you, but give me back Avenue. You are my wife. Goodbye, city life. Green acres is... Thank you for your membership, Nick. Green acres is the place to be. Farm living is the life for me. Oh, sorry, Juju. Shut up. Sit down. Go and finish what you started. Don't be scared. This thing of bringing the ANC down was started by us. It will be finished by us, and no one is going to finish our job. We're going to collapse the ANC together with the DA. The DA is the only one opposition party in South Africa, and that opposition is EFF. Take your rightful position. Challenge white monopoly capital and fight for the poorest. Oh, sorry. Did the glint from my Breitling $14,000 watch harm your vision? Excuse me while I step into my Land Cruiser, my Land Rover. Nick, you had to change banks. Gotcha. Okay. Oh, my goodness. Yeah. White monopoly capital. You mean the guys who back you, Juju? Well, Malema promises to rebuild the economic freedom fighters in KwaZulu-Natal. He calls Zuma's MK party a ruthless tsunami. I'm sorry. I can't help myself. I can't take them seriously. One time they're actually a threat to public safety, but now they're just a joke. Oh, my goodness. Comrade Mongezi, we cannot stand here today and claim to have known your mother personally, but we can confidently say that she was a good human being because of the products of her work, and that product is you. Then what does that make your mother, Juju, an evil shrew? Yes, Juju has more chances of falling pregnant than destroying the ANC. Oh, aidez-moi. Ladies and gentlemen, a car-sized meteorite has fallen to the earth and fallen through the sky. Startling residents in Geberghe and the Eastern Cape. I saw this movie. What's it called? Armageddon. A car-sized meteorite. Okay, I call BS. A car-sized meteorite. For years, they've been telling us that something the size of a suitcase could set off an entire nuclear cataclysm. And now they're telling us a car fell to Earth? A car? What the hell? Who died? Oh, CBS News journalist died. So a car fell out of the sky over the Eastern Cape and the world didn't end. What's going on there? A car-sized meteorite exploded over the Eastern Cape, according to WITS researchers. A host of Eastern Cape residents in the area around Geberghe and St. Francis Bay took to social media after hearing a loud, earth-shattering, thundering noise and seeing multiple streaks of light on Sunday morning at 9 o'clock. In the University of Witwatersrand statement on Monday, Professor Roger Gibson from WITS School of Geosciences confirmed the object was a meteorite. Based on scientific assessment, the incident is consistent with a rock asteroid about the size of a car entering Earth's atmosphere at very high speed. Friction with the atmosphere created a spectacular fireball and caused it to break up in a flight, not a fight. And now you know why nobody studies geosciences. It didn't land, Kurtz. It burned up in the atmosphere. It was a car. It was a Cheery. Well, the Limpopo Human Rights Commission is considering action against a farmer who allegedly killed 2 women and threw bodies in a pigsty. Human Rights Commission says over the past few years they've had to deal with several cases where farmers are accused of attacking black people. Of course, what Mr. Luvengo doesn't bother to tell you is that virtually none have been substantiated. Most are false allegations. The South African Human Rights Commission in Limpopo says it's considering taking action against a farmer who allegedly killed 2 women and threw their bodies in a pigsty. I reported on this story several days ago. Now, the commission expressed concern about what it said is a concerning trend in the farming community where human life is not respected. Really? Where are the lawsuits from the captured South African Human Rights Commission in the murder of Brendan Horner? I'm sorry. There are none? Yes. Shall we continue with the thousands of murdered South Africans? Human life is not respected. It hasn't been respected in rural communities in South Africa since the withdrawal of the commandos. But apparently, when allegations are made, now in this case, this seems like a pretty serious story, but when allegations are made that are unproven, then they talk about no respect for human life. But apparently only human life that matters to the South African Captured Human Rights Commission is that of black South Africans, not brown, not white, no, just black. All lives matter or no lives matter. It's as simple as that, folks. It's as simple as that. Everyone matters or no one matters. This is old news, Charmaine. I reported on this last week. Yep. The farmer, Zachariah Olafia, and his 2 employees, Adrian DeVette and William Musuro. Oh, they didn't mention William Musuro previously. That's new. Yep. So the South African Captured Human Rights Commission says now they're concerned that a current trend in the farming community where human life is not respected. Well, that's long been the case. Long been the case. They took advantage of Jacob's generosity, his kindness during his tenure. So says Jabba the Hutt.
Solo, Jabba the Hutt.
Jabba the Hutt. Now, Lady Pandor just can't enjoy her retirement. They took advantage of Jacob's kindness during his tenure as president. Oh, she was on Sizwe and Mpofu Walsh's podcast. On what it was like to serve under now Mkhonto Sizwe's Jacob Zuma. By the way, I haven't seen that guy who claimed to be Sizwe and Mpofu Walsh. He was on Ronaldo's channel just before the hits attacked on Ronaldo. Interesting correlation there. I haven't seen him since then. Yeah, they took advantage of his kindness. He's a kindly old gentleman. Well, South Africa's extortion mafias are taking upwards of 10% of GDP from businesses, according to South African business chair Martin Kingston. Wow. The escalation comes as data suggests criminal activity shaves up to 10% off the country's gross domestic product. It has an effect on the smallest of businesses and on very large businesses too. The work we're doing in electricity and logistics is that it is being debilitated by infrastructure theft, which undoubtedly is a manifestation of organized crime. Yep. Well, that's what the ANC's allowed. Hey, folks, would you like a Chi-Com truck? Would you like a communist truck? That's right. Here, we got a little promotion here for the Great Wall Motors. That's right. In South Africa, if you can't afford a proper truck like a Toyota, or maybe an Ford, less proper, but Toyota. If you can't afford a Toyota or a Ford, I guess you can go for a Great Wall Motors, the GWM. They even copy General Motors, GWM, GM, GWM. Look at this. The Chinese are nothing original. Look at this. GWM, the Great Wall Motors, is no stranger when it comes to the local bakkie market, having garnered a fairly decent following for their double cabs in the past few years. I've never seen one of these vehicles on the road in South Africa. In fact, before the launch of the 3P Series 500 portfolio, there were almost 13 different double cab offerings. Where the hell are they? I've been all over the country. I haven't seen one of these. New is the P500 luxury and super luxury powered by a 2.4-liter diesel. Excuse me. That truck is powered by a 2.4-liter engine. My sedan has a bigger engine. my sedan, my little tiny Chrysler has a bigger engine than that. It's a 2.5-liter engine. My SUV, which I bought, a V8 in 2004, and it still sits here in my garage, as a 4.7-liter engine. It's double the size of this bakkie. Clump, 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 clump. Look at that. The gate opens up like that instead of folding down. Got a big touch screen inside too. Wow. Unlike some of the Chinese bakkies on the market, the P500 drives and handles well with a gearbox as smooth as anything else out of Japan or America. Okay, if you say so. 2.4 liter engine. 2.4 for a bakkie. A full-size bakkie, 2.4 liter engine. Give me a break. Well, ladies and gentlemen, if you're curious about how many municipalities have coalition governments and the governments of local unity, let's take a look at that in South Africa. Here you go. This is how things stand today. 64% of municipalities in Western Cape have coalition governments, 42% in Northern Cape. Eastern Cape, just 9% because ANC is so dominant there. In Gauteng, 89%. So 8 of the 9 municipalities in Gauteng are governed by coalitions. And, of course, in other ANC strongholds like Mpumalanga, Limpopo, and Northwest, the figures are much lower. But of note, Northern Cape, that's a big surprise, 42%. And then KwaZulu-Natal at 48%. Not a surprise with the IFP's resurgence there. So that's municipal governments. Well, we're approaching the bicentennial of Mosquito's founding of Lesotho. Basotho love their king, but they don't trust their politician. Duh, that's hardly a surprise. With bicentennial celebrations in Lesotho set for October, King Letsie III is highly rated by his subjects, who feel the political class led by Prime Minister Sam Matekane is performing below average. The king is most widely trusted by 73% of members, while members of parliament are least trusted with 29%. That's just how things are all over the world, folks. We will fight for 100 years. We will fight them on the beaches. We will fight them in the streets. Wait a second. Sorry, it's my inner Churchill there. No, it's not Churchill. It's Abdel Fattah al-Burhan, the fascist dictator of Sudan, saying that we are not going to have peace in Sudan. 6 million people suffering. Wow. Sudan's de facto ruler, Army Chief Abdel Fattah al-Burhan, said Saturday his government would not join peace talks with rival paramilitaries in Switzerland, vowing instead to fight for 100 years. We will not go to Geneva. We will fight for 100 years. Well, it is time for Mr. Burhan to leave the stage as 6 million Sudanese suffer in misery. Well, drone strikes in Puch overthrown Mali. Yep, the military thinks they can do it better, but they're only doing it worse. At least 21 people, including 11 children, were killed by drone strikes on Sunday in the town of Tinatzuten in North Mali, where the army suffered a heavy blow last month to Tuareg rebels. They carried out airstrikes on insurgent targets in and around the town shortly after Tuareg and Islamist fighters killed a large number of Malian soldiers and Russian Wagner mercenaries back there in July, which were reported on. Things not going well in Mali. So what do? Kick out our Western benefactors. That didn't go so well. Hundreds of criminal alien invaders wash up on the shores of the Spanish enclaves in North Africa. Hundreds of people swam. Oh, and that's RVCK. Welcome to you. Thank you for subscribing. I can't know what your username is. Hundreds of people swam to Africa, from Africa to European soil, but it's still in Africa, by way of the Spanish enclave, Ceuta. Yep, there you go. 1,500 people attempted the crossing on Sunday night, according to a Spanish representative. Jeez. Spain's 2 enclaves on Morocco's Mediterranean coast, Ceuta and Melilla, share the only land borders with the European Union with Africa. They're averaging 700 criminal alien invaders trying to enter the territory per day. And razor wire works. Just an idea. China Global Television Network launches a 3-part video documentary ahead of the FOCAC. Close friends across continents, advancing modernization for China and Africa. The theme of the summit is join hands to promote modernization and build a high-level community with a shared future for China and Africa. Don't you think that's a bit mouthful there, Chinese? Join hands to promote modernization and build a high-level community with a shared future for China and Africa. Oh, I feel it coming. I feel it coming. We are the world. We are the children. It's till we make a brighter day, just you and I. We are the world. We are the children. China. Yeah, a bit late to the game, fellas. Been saving African asses for 70 years. 13 dead after a boat capsized off the coast of Yemen. At least 13 people have died, 14 remain missing after a boat capsized off Yemen last Tuesday. The criminal alien invader boat carrying 25 Ethiopians and 2 Yemenis had been sailing off the coast in the southwest of the country. Bodies of deceased 11 men, 2 women were recovered along the shores of the Bab al-Mandab Strait. Search operations are continuing to find the others who illegally tried to cross. Telegram founder is arrested after platform's lack of moderation in child sex abuse, according to French police. French police allege that the messaging app led by Paul Durolf has not done enough to tackle criminal activity. Really? So, he was arrested by OFMIN, a French police agency established in the past year focusing on preventing violence against minors. At the heart of this issue is a lack of moderation and cooperation by the platform, particularly in the fight against child sex crimes, says Jean-Michel Bernaud, the Secretary General of OFMIN. The lack of cooperation. So you're not citing a crime. You've arrested Pierre Durolf for a lack of cooperation. He lives in Dubai. His business is licensed and chartered in Dubai, and you're arresting him in France because he doesn't cooperate with French authorities. Yeah, okay. Yeah, I smell some censorship here. Telegram founder's arrest becomes free speech flashpoint. Telegram, founded in 2013 by the Russian entrepreneur Pavel Durov, was grown in the world's largest online communication tools that's central to everyday life in countries like Russia, Ukraine, and India for messaging and getting independent news and exchange of views. Of course, this is the New York Times, essential for messaging in Russia, Ukraine, and India, and the United States, United Kingdom, France, Germany, South Africa, the whole world. You don't get 900 million people around the world just by focusing on Russia, China, and India. Yeah. Anyway, many were shocked when reports emerged on Saturday across French news media that Durov had been arrested in France and charged related to the spread of illicit material on the service. A French judicial official speaking on condition anonymity to discuss the ongoing investigation confirmed on Sunday evening that he was in police custody. As word spread online, weekend news of his detention became a flashpoint. Elon Musk, the owner of X, which has adopted a similarly hands-off approach, said it's 2030 in Europe and you're being executed for liking a meme. Exactly. Yep. Exactly. Unbelievable. Well, terrorist in Germany. Who would have thought? Angela Merkel. That's a good idea. Let them come. Let them come. Your daughter dressed provocatively at the Hallenbad. She wore a one piece. Don't you know that makes her a whore? Yes. So said the Bürgermeister. Yes. You're at fault. This is your fault. You let your daughter go to this Hallenbad and she wears just a single, one, Einzel Stück Badekleidung. A single piece bathing suit. She tempted this man. She's a hussy. This is the reason why we have so many criminals here, because of you. Jacques! German knife attack. Syrian national held on suspicion of murder and terrorism. Say it ain't so, Joe. 3 people killed, another 8 wounded following a stabbing spree in the city of Solingen during a festival of, wait for it. Does anybody know what the answer is? A festival of, what was it? They were celebrating 650-year anniversary of the town of Solingen in Nordrhein-Westfalen. And the festival was not a beer fest. It wasn't the Jahrmarkt. It wasn't the Sommerfest. It wasn't the Herbstfest. It wasn't Oktoberfest. It was a fest of diversity. And initially the media lied and said it was a minor who did it. Turns out it's a 26-year-old terrorist. Syrian nationals being held on suspicion of murder and membership in a terrorist organization connects with a knife attack in Solingen that left 3 dead and 8 wounded. A judge at the Federal Court of Justice in Karlsruhe ordered that Issa Al-H, I can't tell us his last name, be held pending further investigation of possible indictment on Sunday. Federal prosecutors said he holds the ideology of ISIS, was acting in accordance with those beliefs when he went on a stabbing spree. 26-year-old is accused of stabbing people repeatedly from behind in the head and upper body during the attack. So, welcome to diversity, Germany. Welcome to diversity. Well, CVC, Abu Dhabi, and Singapore funds seek to buy state-held Schenker, one of the world's largest logistics concerns. Yep. The German state-owned rail operator started the process for its logistics unit in December. Consortium led by CVC Capital Partners and Kamikaze. That's cute, Kamikaze. Kamikaze just subscribed. Thank you for that, Kamikaze. I like that. Led at Abu Dhabi Investment Authority and Singapore's Sovereign Wealth Fund made a bid for Deutsche Bahn's logistics division, Schenker, which values the business at around 14 billion rand. While I do endorse the sale of state-owned enterprises and so that they aren't stealing from the private sector, I question the judgment of German government selling this to Dubai. We scuppered a deal in Tallahassee. Was it Tallahassee? No, it wasn't Tallahassee. It was in Jacksonville. The deal in Jacksonville where they tried to take over our ports. It's a well-run company, but yeah. Scores of detainees in Maduro's crackdown are children, according to the Washington Post. Maduro's forces arrested children as young as 13. Rights advocates say more than 100 remain in custody weeks after Venezuelans began protesting his so-called victory. Yep. It was 1 a.m. when 17 military counterintelligence officers knocked on the door of a family home and barged in. Officers pointed rifles at a 40-year-old woman and her 5-year-old son. They pushed her 15-year-old son against the wall, handcuffed him, slapped his face until he revealed the name of a friend. Then they dragged him into a van. Wow. One of 120 minors has been imprisoned by security forces of Nicolas Maduro since they started this. The children are among 1,600 people who have been rounded up and arrested without judicial due process. Well, Canada is eyeing tariffs on the Chinese. Oh, but the Chinese are so wonderful. Canada is adding tariffs to imports of Chinese EV, steel, and aluminum. The 100% surtax will be applied to electric vehicles made in China, while imports of steel and aluminum products will be subject to a 25% surtax. Wow. Hefty tariffs on imports of Chinese electric vehicles, steel, and aluminum, positioning itself with allies, including the U.S., to protect domestic manufacturing. Well, so Juicy Trudeau also applying tariffs to the Chi-Coms. Donald Trump raises doubts about the debate after Kamala Harris tries to change the rules. This is typical of leftists. They try to scupper the debate because they know she'll be shellacked in the debate. Trump raises doubts about participating in ABC News debate on September 10th, just 2 weeks away. Former President Donald Trump raised doubts late Sunday about whether he would participate in the September 10th debate against Vice President Kamala Harris. Posting on Truth Social, the Republican presidential nominee suggests the network would be heavily biased against him. Well, it comes down to the microphone. He wants to know why she turned down Fox, NBC, CBS, and even CNN. Wow. Only to go on ABC. Well, just go on. You'll destroy her. Pennsylvania's anti-democratic action continues to interfere with our elections. Our state, Secretary of State in the state, once again, putting undue requirements on third-party candidates that are not required of major party candidates. And this has got to be unconstitutional. This is something that the state legislature should take a look at. Oh, wait, I didn't get elected, so I'm not in the state legislature, so you're going to have to do this on your own. Pennsylvania judge rules that Cornel West cannot appear on the ballot in Pennsylvania. Wow. Now that creepy dude, Cornel West. A court in Pennsylvania ruled on Friday that independent presidential candidate Cornel West cannot appear on the ballot in Pennsylvania. A 15-page ruling, Commonwealth Court Judge Renee Cohen-Jublier sided with Secretary of State's office under Democratic Governor Josh Shapiro in rejecting his candidacy paperwork. Secretary of State's office said West and his running mate, activist Melina Abdullah, lacked the required affidavits for 14 of West's 19 presidential electors. So wait a second. So if you're a third-party candidate in Pennsylvania, you don't just have to have the requisite 5,000 signatures to get on the ballot for president, or 10,000, whichever it is. You also have to identify your electors to get on the ballot. Jubilier, a Republican, agreed with Secretary of State's office that minor party presidential electors are to be considered candidates for office who must file affidavits, even if major party presidential electors are not. So Trump, Biden, and Harris didn't have to file this, but Cornel West and RFK had to do this. You see how they undermine democracy? Because Cornel West would steal votes from Harris. Definitely. Could cost their election here. How is there even one single American who isn't embarrassed? That's a good question, Declan. If the court sided with West, it would make it nearly impossible for the Secretary of State's office and county boards to respectively timely certify, print, and mail the absentee ballots as contemplated by the election code. Removing almost 2 weeks from the time frame almost guarantees the inability to act within those time frames. Now, see, that's nonsense. It's nonsense. Pennsylvania has a deadline. As long as he meets the deadline, what does it have to do? They're trying to fabricate rules to keep third-party candidates off the ballot. Shame on them. RFK counters the undemocratic party. Trump endorsement puts new spin on battleground showdowns. He sent Democrats scurrying to dismiss the potential impact of his excellent battleground contest, where a shift of just 1 or 2% could decide who moves into the White House. In announcing his decision Friday, Mr. Kennedy said the Democratic Party is a party of war, censorship, corruption, big pharma, big tech, big ag, and big money. And I played that for you earlier. Absolutely the case. Nippon Steel's $15 billion effort to take over U.S. Steel is running into a buzzsaw from unions and politicians. The proposed merger of Japanese and American industrial giants, which proponents say would benefit both countries, is ensnared in political and labor opposition. There's U.S. Steel's Clairton works in Clairton, Pennsylvania. Yep. On December 18th, the companies announced that Nippon Steel had agreed to acquire U.S. Steel for $14.9 billion, a 40% premium on the price of U.S. Steel's shares at the time. Analysts praised Nippon Steel as a potential savior of U.S. Steel, a one-time leader in the rolled steel industry, but has fallen behind. A deadly virus is on the loose. No, it's not Rona. More scare tactics. Deadly mosquito virus has Massachusetts towns urging people to stay in at night. The virus is spread by mosquitoes. It's rare, but serious. 30% of people with the virus die. Good Lord. Many people survive had neurological problems. A rare but deadly disease spread by mosquitoes has nearly a dozen Massachusetts communities on alert. Massachusetts health officials this month confirmed the state's first human cases of the Eastern equine encephalitis. Shame. That's pretty scary. Meanwhile, Anthony Fauci has West Nile virus. Did you hear that? Yeah. Dennis Quaid scoffs at Facebook censorship, folks. Yeah, actor Dennis Quaid, who portrays Ronald Reagan in an upcoming biopic, said Facebook keeps removing videos of him portraying the Republican icon because they might help Donald Trump's presidential campaign. My point about Facebook is that them banning or censoring materials from the movie is itself an attempt to influence an election, he said. Yep. He said Facebook's automated filters purged advertising posts about the movie again last week after the platform apologized for an automated mistake in removing earlier materials. Facebook's parent company, Meta, has moved to limit the potential posts to reduce its influence on the contest between Trump and Harris. Well, of course, Facebook is guilty of interference. That's the biggest election interference that's occurred anywhere, and nothing is done about it because they support the Democrats. Well, what would a Kroger and Albertsons merger look like? Well, it could be good news, it could be bad news. And why is it necessary? The two of the largest grocery firms are set to merge in a $24.6 billion deal. It says it will help them compete with supercenters, dollar stores, club, and discount and online rivals. But the FTC blocked the deal back in February, warning that it could reduce competition. Of course, the FTC's argument carries no weight. It's not legitimate. I mean, seriously, it makes no sense. Many regional grocery chains have been absorbed by Kroger's and Albertsons over the past few decades, shrinking the number in the space. There's still Safeway, there's still Giant, there's still Winn-Dixie, there's still plenty of them out there. But there's a proliferation of other options out there for people. Amazon, Costco, Walmart, Lidl, Aldi, Trader Joe's, Dollar Tree, Dollar General. All of them sell groceries. In fact, the largest grocer in America is not Kroger's, not Albertsons, but Walmart. $324 billion in grocery sales in 2023. Walmart took in 75% of South Africa's GDP in grocery sales alone in 2023. That's 3/4 of South Africa's entire GDP was Walmart grocery sales. I don't buy any groceries at Walmart, so who's shopping there? Wow. Kroger was number 2 with $113 billion in revenue. So Walmart took in 1/3. So they have a problem with Walmart controlling 1/3, but they have a problem with Kroger and Albertsons merging to fend off competition. My goodness. Well, there you have it, folks. There's the news for today. Let's go back to the chat and see what's going on here. All right. Kindness to the Guptas. That's it. Chris says, I wouldn't buy any Chinese communist crap. Neither would I. Then why doesn't human rights commotion talk about 30 to 50 people that get off in squatter camps? Exactly. Because they're fraudulent. They're fake. The purpose of South African Human Rights Commission is not to advance human dignity and human rights. It's to advance black supremacy. I mean, one could reach that conclusion. That's not my claim. One could reach that conclusion by looking at the cases they handle. I mean, the energy they put into the fake Eben Etzebeth racist incident that was never racist. It was racist because he was attacked by someone over his race. Yeah, remember that? The Ronaldo case. Matchbox trucks. Yep. There's so many unidentified cars on the road. Have you seen the new Photon? No, never seen it. Chinese EVs doing very badly in Switzerland. In fact, a few Chinese have closed. Yeah, well, they're doing badly here. We don't have any Chinese EVs that I'm aware of. Chris, have a look at the new 2025 Caterpillar. Well, there's lots of different Caterpillars out there. Clive, which Caterpillar are you talking about? Springboks Fords have got more horsepower than that bakkie. What else we got here? Full cock, you mean full cock? Yeah, that's full cock. Exactly right. Fucking stir fry bakkie. Oh, that's not right, Hendo. I just read what you said. Do not expose to direct sunlight. Ray Charles, eat your heart out. That's right. We are the world. I was doing actually Scumbag from New Jersey, Bruce Springsteen. How will the first 100 days of new Trump presidency be and feel like? Well, I don't know. Hopefully that phone will ring. Yes. It's Chief Staff from the White House. Yeah. So which positions you're offering? Secretary of Defense, Secretary of State, Ambassador to South Africa. Well, that's a tough one. Yeah. What teddies? Oh, there's teddies all over here. They're under my table. They actually are under my table. I took it off to record a video earlier. That's funny. So, there's my meerkat. And there's my Roby teddy. Yeah, they're under my table. That's correct. Plus, of course, let's not forget this one. Let's not forget my Steif anniversary bear, 2016. Steif Museumsbär. Museumsbär. It's my teddy bear. Anyway, yep, they are under my table. That's correct. Monkeypox is not racist, just like West Nile virus is not racist, and Wuhan is not. Wuhan flu is not racist, nor is Ebola. Rocky Mountain spotted fever. That's just the colloquial way it's done. Yep. Tian Engelbrecht is here. Welcome to Jacques Vint. Knife fight, come with a gun. Yeah. People wonder why everything in CCP is plastic. Sullivan, well known for knife and scissor manufacturing. Well, that's not good. Yep. Hey, Robert Rankin. Hello to you. Well, Eric is here. Married your Chronic 206. Chronic Blunt. Who else we got here? Misty. Hello, Misty. Declan says, how is there... Okay, I already read that. Okay. RFK did do it, though. So despite minor parties having to jump through hoops, unlike the major parties, it can be done. Oh, I didn't say it couldn't be done. I just said it's unfair. Why does a third party candidate have to have more threshold to get on the ballot than anyone else? That's not equal justice under the law. That's not equal treatment under the law. That's special treatment for the political parties, which tells you that the whole thing is rigged. Galloping Granny. American politics seem to be far more divisive than South African politics. Nah, not really. Declan. Okay, what else you got there? Yep, mad cow is actually bovine spongiform encephalopathy. Yep, cow spongy brains. That's exactly what it is. It's Fraudley Davidson. Is it a Harley Davidson? Arctic is here. Where you been? You cannot be ambassador. You say too much. For Trump, I don't think that's a problem. We are the world. Stupid video. All the stars singing, smile as they sing. These children are dying all over the world. Exactly. And what do? It's like Michelle Obama. Bring home our girls. The Chibok girls. Where's she at today? There's still half the Chibok girls that have never been liberated and freed. She's not. She doesn't care. It's all just a joke. Martin K., welcome to you. Cat, LDV, or pickup? Huh? Caterpillar doesn't make trucks. The best tonic is chronic. Snoochie boogies. Most constipated sounding song ever. Oh my gosh. Yeah, it's like Ramaphosa saying he cares about kids. Yeah, exactly. He's been on vacation. Rich people aren't flying until after election, it seems. Well, that sucks. That sucks. Wish I was one of those rich people so I could just fly wherever I wanted. Thank you, Anton VRB, for subscribing. I think the subscriptions are coming off of my Roman video. Let's see how that's doing. Let's see how that's doing, folks. Well, this is definitely out of date. I know it was more than that before I even went on air. Okay, that's a little bit more like it. Let's see what the actual figure is. It is, oh, wow, it's going. That one's got me 4,233 views. 8 subscribers. The Roman video is climbing. Well, there you go. Let's see what the comments are. How many? I got 3 dislikes, 91 comments. All right. Yeah, someone's laughing. You have a right winger laughing. Yep. Somebody says, thanks, Chris, for your well-balanced, intelligent input and contribution to the shit show that's been happening in our beloved country. Keep it coming. There are lots of folks appreciate your input. Enjoy the rugby this weekend. Stay safe. Well, thank you for that very much, Daryl Cyril. I think that is. It would also be great if you were appointed. Well, but I can't. I'm not going to be appointed in South Africa. So just love this. There are now at least 2 intelligent guys with common sense in that ministry. Says, okay. Anyway, so yeah, that's cool. Good to see people are going to that one. Let's see how it does. The last one I think had 7,000 views. Marilyn, welcome to you. Could probably been here all along. Freightliner used CAT engines. Oh, okay, gotcha. Yeah, no, Freightliner does use Caterpillar engines. Okay, but Freightliner is a semi-producer. So, what is this? Remember, CR Sun took big COVID bucks. Oh, they all did, man. They all did. It's terrible. He cares about kids, only his kids. That's probably very true. So I saw earlier, I don't know if anybody watches. By the way, what you see on that video on YouTube, it's less than half the current views. It says 2,000. It's over 4,200. So YouTube's so slow behind here. But yeah, it's Cat Turd had a thing earlier where I guess he finally bought himself a new vehicle. He's like 60 years old. He's never owned a new vehicle. He bought a new truck, and someone flamed him for boasting about buying a truck. And they said, you never helped anybody. And a bunch of people jumped in his defense and said, what are you talking about? Cat Turd was here helping people long before anyone else. He's always helped people. He gives people their time. So he just went off on the guy. And you're right to go off on the guy. I know where he's coming from, but I wish he'd help me. Yeah. Another one bites at dusk. Yeah. What's this? Ndonga, white dude trying to be black. Not surprising in the world where men can be women. Oh, Ndonga is the account that they're trying to expose. They're desperately trying to expose Ndonga. We already saw that one of the while it was on IOL tried to claim that he was Ronaldo. I remember that. That was just so funny. Moonchild says, when are you coming out here again? I just left. Come on, folks. I just left there at the end of June. So it's July. Not even 2 months I've been gone. Well, there's rugby in late September, and I have to be back in October for consulting, but I've considered it. Left months ago. I left 2 months ago. Yeah, okay, again, you're correct. It is months ago. Technically, today or yesterday was 2 months ago. That's right. Nobody likes other people's kids these days. They're undisciplined, spoiled brats. Huh. George is there. Good to see you there, George. And focus, man. Focus like a locust. Focus on what? What do you want to focus on? Take a pick. Pick a topic. Hey, Arctic doesn't like any kids except his own. Okay. All right. Freightliner has a pickup? Okay, let me look into this. Freightliner has a pickup. Freightliner pickup truck. Look at this. $8,000 pickup truck? What? That can't be right. That's got to be a joke. Huh. This isn't a pickup truck. These are not pickup. These are not bakkies, man. These are trucks. You guys are killing me here, man. That's not a truck. That is not a pickup truck. Look at that. That is that's a truck. It's a cargo truck. Freightliner pickup and delivery trucks. No. Those are not pickup trucks. No. Let's go here. Let's look at their trucks. Oh, there's their models. Okay. Okay. None of those aren't trucks, man. Those are delivery vehicles. Those are semis. What's going on? He's taking Matthew's job away. Okay, Smee, they're lorries. I'll buy that, but they're not pickup trucks. Okay, let's go to Caterpillar and see what you got here. Caterpillar pickup truck 2025. Okay, you're right. It does. This is real. This is real. Okay. Caterpillar's pickup truck. It's created what would be the best pickup truck for professionals in years, but if they don't learn from International Scout, they may be dead on arrival. On paper, the Caterpillar pickup checks all the boxes, but the big one. On the positive side, it's an automotive marvel. It's really good looking and has far more classic pickup truck appearance than the Tesla Cybertruck. Yeah, that thing is hideous. It's designed for work, but it looks really nice. It's impressive ground clearance, built-in steep step rail, a really nice functional truck bed with multiple 120-volt plugs, engineering wonder of a tailgate that splits horizontally. Decent for a truck, aerodynamics, and is integrated engineering wonder of a tailgate that split. Okay, huge cabs, interesting power options include a 500 horsepower diesel. Damn. 1,000 pounds of torque. A hybrid version with 450 horsepower at 600 pounds. An optimal 40-mile range. What's torque? Wow. That's pretty impressive. The problem takes me back to a really nice truck for me is International Scout. We had one of the family. Okay, so he's saying they had problems. So what's the cost? I think somewhere I saw it was $65,000. So where do we find this thing at? Where do we find it? I mean, that's Caterpillar truck. I don't see it listed anywhere here. Is there a dealership here? Let me find a dealership. Dye Motors. What the hell is Dye Motors? Why can't you get it? If they've ever... It looks pretty freaking cool from the front, man. Let's take a look at this. Dye Motors. Okay. This is from July. Look at that front on that, man. That looks freaking like a beast. I love it with those lights on top. Oh, you got to have the lights. Look at that. That looks sweet. Wow, that looks pretty cool. What's the price tag? $65,000? $70,000? 22 miles, city, 28 highway. That's incredible for a full-size pickup truck. Look at that cab, man. I want one. I want one. Oh, my goodness. Where's the price? Look at all these features. There it is. Here we go. In terms of price, it's the upper end of the market. Base model starts at $65,000. You get a V8, it's $90,000. That's a house, man. It's a freaking house. It's a house. At work, we produce parts for Komatsu and Bell Equipment. Oh, okay. Komatsu is good equipment there. Did miss you discussing the new Samsung approved battery for vehicle charges in 9 minutes? Nope. I didn't see that anywhere, Mike. RFK is not a good replacement for J.D. Vance. RFK has too many liberal... He's not a replacement for J.D. Vance, Sadus here. He's just someone who's joining the campaign. Sloot, still alive. Which Sloot? Exactly. I call them flatbed trucks that are enclosed. Yep. Looks great. It looks incredible. Cyber truck has been exposed as a flimsy, overpriced scam truck. Okay. Robert says only in America. Yeah, that is forking expensive, Moonchild. $90,000 US. That's freaking insane. I'm not paying $90,000 for a truck. That just ain't going to happen, man. I have to have a $500,000 a year job. Size of the cat pickup is like a Ford Ranger. Bane of my life is I only drive a lonely Toyota. Sorry, I say bakkie. No, Toyota's fantastic. It's big and stupid. Why wouldn't you want one? It's not big. It's not stupid. It's awesome. It's just too expensive. It's just too expensive, man. Way too expensive. I can't afford that. That's crazy. That's cray, man. $90,000 for a pick-em-up truck. Grabbing a glass of Pepsi Max. Ugh, Pepsi Max. Ugh, I'll take the Starbucks. Dylan, I could visit South Africa 7 or 8 times for that money. Yep, 77,000 pounds for bakkie. Yep, 99% of trucks are out of my price range. Same here. It's crazy. Mahindra is the only truck for me. Yeah, I used to be a shareholder of Mahindra, but they were bought out from under me. So they closed out their American depository receipts. Didn't make any money on it, even though the stock performed well. Just didn't make any money because people didn't know what Mahindra was. Yep, I knew what it was. So, Indian company. And they're involved in all kinds of stuff. Looks like it got a good growl. Yeah, exactly. It is pretty cool. Right, folks. 115 likes. 1 new member. Got some new subscribers on the channel. Let me see how we're doing on subscriber count. But that's because Roman, I think. So, well, we went to 18,400. There we go. 18,400. So we finally eclipsed that. We've been stuck in the 300 range for like a month. That's sucky. So we're finally gone beyond that. That's good news. So 18,401. Thank you to those who subscribed. Really do appreciate that. So you're right about the Caterpillar truck, but I don't say anything for a Freightliner. Those aren't trucks. Mahindra got cars. I've never seen their cars. Never seen their cars. Yeah. So Moonchild says, find difficult to listen to because of his voice. I know he has some rare voice condition, but I still battle. Yeah, no, it's tough. I got you. But his what he spoke the other day was actually pretty darn good. Let me bring that up on the screen again. So this is him speaking, announcing that he left the his campaign suspended and endorsed Trump. This is RFK Jr., Bobby Kennedy Jr., son of Ethel and Robert Kennedy. And here his voice is pretty clear. So this is probably the best I've heard him speak.
As you know, I left that party in October because it had departed so dramatically from the core values that I grew up with. It had become the party of war, censorship, corruption, big pharma, big tech, big ag, and big money.
Yeah, so that's pretty good on his part. What's this with the 538 polling? No, I haven't looked at 538 polling. Let me look it up and see. Are you going to tell me that Trump is losing? Was that what it's? Don't lose any sleep over that. 538 polling. Okay. 538. Okay. Who's ahead in the presidential polls? They've got Trump ahead by 4 points. Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. Shadows here, it doesn't matter. Those aren't real. It's not real. Doesn't matter. We want to look at the state polls. Let's take a look and see what they've got to say about Pennsylvania. That's what matters. They got Harris ahead by 1.5 points in Pennsylvania. I'm not buying it. Let's see Georgia. They've got Trump ahead of Harris by a point. Arizona. They got Harris ahead in Arizona. Come on, this isn't even... For what? What are her policies? What does she believe in? What are her statements? Nothing. So people are going to vote because it's not Trump? Or because they don't like Trump? I mean, so I did a video on this, and I put it on my other channel. Hendo, if you're still here, can you put the link up to that? People aren't going to it. So... it's Joe Emilio. Okay, hang on a second there. Okay, hang on a second. Wow, YouTube. You don't even finish out my damn... I'm putting my own channel. You don't even finish it there. So, okay. So, here we go. So, this is a video I put up. 183 views. I'm going to have to put on this channel just so we get some views. This is a video I put up on YouTube last night that I recorded. And it's just nonsense. People are going to vote for her because she's not Trump. What the hell? They cheapen their votes. It's ridiculous. All right, here we go. It's the end of August 2024. We're just a couple of months away from a momentous election here in the United States. Donald Trump or Joe Biden? Oh, wait, no. Selected but not elected, Kamala Harris. Forgot about that. Yeah, people are making their decision in this country about whether they should vote based on the fact that they won't vote for Donald Trump. Well, let me put this in perspective for folks. What policies does Kamala Harris stand for? abortion up until the moment of birth, $2 trillion in federal deficit spending in a single year, driving up interest rates and sucking credit out of the markets for entrepreneurs, home buyers, car buyers, students trying to go to university, confiscation of wealth, taxing unrealized capital gains. If anybody thinks that's a good idea because you're not rich, you don't have mutual funds, or you don't have stocks, then you really don't understand basic economics. Doubling the tax rate on dividends, capital gains, unbelievable. So that's a video I recorded yesterday. It's about a 5-minute video, but 183 views. That sucks because the censorship on my original channel really, they don't, even my 20,000 subscribers don't get notified. In fact, I can't look at it because I'm logged in. Yeah. Let me see something. Yeah, so I can see because someone on there from the U.S. follows me, and they must have been a follower from the very beginning of the original channel when it was moribund for 22 months. And they wrote to me and said, hey, he said, you need to, we really want you. Let me read what the person said, okay? Because let me go back to that comment. That was a pretty good comment. So this person said, Chris, been following you. What? That's not it. Oh. He's been following what's going on there since 2018. That's how I found you. I've now had to turn my attention domestically as we seem to be headed down the same path. I speak for many of your followers when I say we need leadership as Americans who know the score from studying history in other countries around the world, South Africa included. I'm voting Trump. However, I fear if we lose and even if we win, we're too far down the road of rampant immigration, the radical left, and feckless conservative politicians that will eventually descend to a South Africa-like state. Your military background brings a gravitas to these issues that I and many others just don't have. Lean into your experience and military background. I see a huge hole not being filled that your skills are well suited for. I urge you to see yourself as a leader domestically because you are. Well, I do. I do see myself as a leader, but I'm being marginalized and kept out of the public debate. And I don't know if it's because maybe I'm not that appealing, or maybe they don't like what I have to say, or maybe I just don't come across well on camera. Maybe all that's true. I don't know. I don't think that's the case based on what my viewers say. But I mean, I've appeared on many shows and none of it's gotten me traction, got me a national audience. And many of the people who are influencers or names out there in the social media sphere and journalism sphere who are conservatives are jealous that anyone might steal their thunder. Whereas I have no problem with other people, tell me, look, Citizen Concern, more power to her. I hope she gets millions of views. I hope she gets 100,000 subscribers. I'll envy her, but I won't be angry that she does that. So anyway, it's the beard. Nonsense. When the beard's gone, what will the excuse be then? Okay, what would the excuse be then? Yeah, Moonchild didn't get notified on it. Yeah, and Moonchild is subscribed to the original channel. Yep. Taxes on unrealized gains. Exactly. They're not gains. They're not gains. It's fictitious, but that's what they want to do. Florida does it already. Florida has an intangibles tax. It's ridiculous. Someone burned down our regional post office hub. Jeez. Major election around the corner. Sorting machines lost. Location closed indefinitely. Oh, here we go. That's over in the Philadelphia area and Westchester. Yep. Oh, Eric, I'm sorry you're shaking. Hang in there. You should take it as a point of pride that they're marginalized because it means they're threatened by you. It does, Charles, but it limits the ability to change the narrative and to get people to think, which is what I want to do. So, yeah, I knew that I had made it on January 6, 2021, not because of January 6th, but because that's the first day YouTube attacked one of my videos. I knew it. So that's when I knew it. Anyway, so that's there. So, but the thing is, the gentleman, I appreciate what he had to say. It's very kind of him. But what I don't think he realized, maybe because he didn't know the new channel was up, which is now 3.5 years old, or 3 years and a few months, is that I ran for office this year. It cost me a lot of money. Two sides of the same coin. Yep. All right. Okay, guys, let me wrap it up here. I've got to run around and do veteran stuff here and sort out what's going on with the veterans organization. And I've got some errands to run. So you guys take care. Kamala's getting Obama-level hype. Yep, unearned and nothing but vibes. Just like, yep, yeah, exactly. It's not about policy. It's not about, well, that's why the world's in the crisis that it's in, because it's not about that. And that's a shame. How's the post? Not in great shape, Mike. Not in great shape. Got trouble. Got issues. So, actually, so there are fiscal concerns, and it's a consequence of the county not renewing a license and denying us. But we're not alone. There's 3 other posts in this county alone where this feckless bureaucrat has intentionally undermined us and pushed us to the verge of in a lot of serious financial distress. So I asked if we could get help from other posts. I contacted the district and the state. That's the next 2 levels up. They looked at the letter that I drafted, asking for assistance, explaining the situation to people, asking people to help us out to get bridges to a certain period of time. They approved the letter. They gave me the email addresses. I sent it to all the commanders around the state. Then I got an email back a couple days later saying I had to pull back the email because I can't do that. But you told me I could. You approved it. Anyway, so we'll see what happens. Thanks, Moonchild. You guys take care. All right, everybody take care. Lay down the law. Well, it's not as simple as that. All right, guys. Cheers. Thanks for being here. And we'll see you if something breaks. Otherwise, we'll see you later. If not, we'll see you tomorrow. No night owls tonight. I'll think about night owls, but not right now. All right, guys. Cheers.